Chapter 661 Giving and Returning. The eyes of the spirit of world law fell on the face of Storm Titan God King Bradley. It said, if the gate of chaos really cannot be defended, the 12 titans will lead the ancient titans to withdraw to the battlefield of all realms and fight the alien forces on the main battlefield. Hear this. Storm Titan God King Bradley's expression suddenly changed. Once the 12 titans return, won't his identity as Titan King become meaningless? After all, by that time, the Titan clan must have listened to the 12 titans. The same goes for their Storm Titan clan. Because the 12 titans are the founders of all titans and even the giant race. Just like the elves in all realms of the universe believe in their mother goddess, Heloise, the goddess of nature and elves, of course the fallen, dark elves are not included. And even if the 12 titans are not interested in the power of the Titan King. He was also worried that the 12 titans would turn more attention to the Thunder Titans. The reason is simple. The Thunder Titans are the titans who inherit the orthodox bloodline of the 12 titans. Their Storm Titan clan is just a branch of the Titan clan. It is not orthodox in terms of blood. Here, the spirit of world law seemed to see the worry in the heart of Storm Titan God King Bradley, and said, you don't have to worry about your power being taken away by the 12 titans. They rule the ancient Titan clan. Later generations of titans don't have much to do with them. As for the issue about the Thunder Titan clan, you don't have to worry about it. The 12 titans have recognized your identity as Titan God King. As long as you follow closely behind the Lord of Holy Light, your throne of God King will not be taken away by anyone. Praise the ancestors. Bradley was immediately happy. Hearing these words from the spirit of world law, he was completely relieved. He secretly made up his mind. From now on, we must obey the will of the Lord of Holy Light. The Lord of Holy Light asked him to go east, but he would never go west. Although it is difficult for him to become a Holy Spirit level believer of the Lord of Holy Light like an angel, he will definitely submit his devout faith to the Lord of Holy Light. At the same time, his tribe, as well as those giants, will all believe in the Lord of Holy Light. Contribute to the Lord of Light's transcendence. Just at this time, the spirit of the world's laws in the Titan God realm took out a bright ball of light and gave it to the Storm Titan God King Bradley, and said, this is the secret of all the laws that I have mastered, and part of the origin of the world. Take it and give it to the Lord of Holy Light. With this, and the help of the Tower of Eternity, the Lord of Holy Light can master the 3,000 laws faster. Good. Bradley quickly took the ball of light. As soon as he took possession of the light ball, he sensed the origin of the vast world contained in it, as well as the terrifyingly powerful secrets of the law. Intuition told him, if he refines this ball of light into his body, he has a great chance of breaking through the ranks and being promoted to the realm of the 12 Titan gods. For Bradley, the temptation of this ball of light even surpasses the super artifact Tower of Eternity. After all, the Tower of Ion is only an external object. One's own divine power and personality are the foundation of a god. However, Bradley didn't think much about it. He directly erased the greed and some bad thoughts in his heart, and quickly installed the light ball into his own space artifact. In Bradley's view, although the temptation of the light ball is great, in the end, one's own life is more important. Even if he controlled the ball of light and even used its power to reach the level of the 12 Titan gods, what would be the use? The battle of the universe is coming. Those titans may not be able to survive the disaster alive. Why does he think he can survive or even save the universe? Another point is that if he does such a thing, even if the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm cannot suppress him, the 12 titans will kill him. Because this is something that is offered as tribute to the Lord of Holy Light. He has no right to covet. The spirit of world law glanced at Bradley and nodded with satisfaction again. Then he said, you have to work hard. After the Lord of Holy Light recovers and even masters the power beyond his peak, he may give the Tower of Eternity to you titans again. When the time comes, you will be the glory of the Titan clan. No one can shake your status as the Titan King. Regift. Bradley looked at the spirit of world law in shock. The Tower of Eternity is a super artifact created by the 12 titans using countless god-level materials. It is the treasure of their Titan clan. Shouldn't it be the Lord of Holy Light who returns the Tower of Eternity to their Titan clan? How can we use the word, given? The spirit of world law glanced at him sideways and said, the Tower of Eternity was built by the 12 titans under the suggestion of the Lord of Holy Light. So, you understand. Understood. Bradley's view of cognition collapsed again. But the awe in his eyes was even stronger. Chapter 662 Lin Yu's sharing. The battlefield of all realms. the headquarters of the Wolf God clan. Lin Yu didn't know about the series of events that happened in the Titan God realm, nor did he know that the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm had prepared a grand gift for him. After giving the order to the 318-winged fallen archangels to attack the underworld, he took Angelia and left the central temple. He returned to the retreat room in the backyard of the temple and summoned the 10-winged angel Elena, the saint of light Tiffany, the angel of love Cheryl, the ancient great elf Doris, the silver dragon princess, the natural elf queen Grisette, and Lee angel Ida et al. In addition, there are also the big lily Sea Tang and the immortal flower Bower. These are his team. Among them, the powerful angels Ida and Chao Qian followed him when he first came to the floating island world, and they worked hard and achieved great results. Now that he has obtained the super artifact, the Tower of Eternity, he naturally wants to share it with these closest people as soon as possible. After everyone has arrived, Lin Yu opened the Tower of Eternity to them. Let them enter the tower to practice. Tower of Eternity not only carries the complete 3000 laws, but can also provide practitioners with a talent amplification halo, allowing practitioners to comprehend the mysteries of those laws more easily and faster. Take the Titan King Clovis as an example. With his own talent, if it were not for the help of the Tower of Eternity, he would not have been able to comprehend the supreme laws of more than 100 different attributes. You must know that the supreme law is the secret law of the supreme God level. Every secret is extremely mysterious. And every time a supreme law is understood and mastered, the divine power of the supreme God can be greatly increased. However, it is not easy to understand and master it. Even for the 718-winged archangels, it was extremely difficult. As the eldest sister, Angelia has only mastered more than 150 supreme laws after practicing for so many years, which is, only, dozens more than the Titan God King Clovis. Relatively speaking, the laws and secrets of the main God level and the ordinary true God level are much simpler. It will be easier to understand the secrets of such laws with the help of Tower of Eternity. Lin Yu's purpose in summoning the 10-winged angel Elena, the saint of light Tiffany and others was to let them enter the tower to understand the secrets of the laws and quickly increase their divine power and status. Of course, before they enter the pagoda to practice, Lin Yu took the first step to communicate with them the secrets of the law. This can help them achieve an even more amazing growth rate in a short period of time. Time flies, and 3 days have passed. After Elena, Tiffany, Doris and other girls all entered the Tower of Eternity, one by one, Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief and quickly left the retreat under the expectant gaze of secretary and room. The communication of the secrets of laws is also a very tiring thing. However, Lin Yu also gained a lot. In just 3 days, he mastered the secrets of more than 200 laws with different attributes. It is not far away from the great consummation of the 3000 laws. The power of the Tower of Eternity is indeed extraordinary. If this continues, in 2 or 3 days I will be able to master the 3000 laws and be promoted to the realm of true God. When I become an immortal God, I will continue to use the power of the Tower of Eternity to upgrade the 3000 laws to the realm of the Lord God, or even the realm of the Supreme God. It looks like there's still a long way to go. But there is a saying that is right, everything is difficult at the beginning. With the help of the Tower of Eternity and my power of creation, it shouldn't be difficult for me to improve the level of the 3000 principles. If nothing else happens, when all my 3000 laws are promoted to the level of the Supreme God, then I will be able to achieve transcendence and be above the avenue of the universe. During this process, I can also find other ways to speed up my improvement. It is Lin Yu's goal to complete the transcendence plan before the catastrophe of the universe. As for the future, Lin Yu is also full of confidence and expectations. Angel Clan, Holy and Light Camp, Natural Gods, and even the Evil Gods Alliance, who came over to take refuge, countless gods, countless believers, and countless creatures trust him and protect him. He has no reason to transcend failure. No matter how tired he is and how much the price he pays, he must succeed in transcending. He must not disappoint those who believe in him. But it seems, it has been more than half a month since we arrived at the 10,000 worlds battlefield. I don't know what the current situation of the floating island world is. Lin Yu suddenly wanted to go back to 014965 floating island to see the paradise kingdom he built with his own hands and the army of angels he summoned with each gold coin. Do not know why. He prefers the mortal world like the floating island to the big stage like the 10,000 realms battlefield. Angelia, who was standing aside, said, "My lord, don't worry, the commander of the Mia army 12-winged seraph will definitely handle the things you tell us properly." Besides, I just contacted Mia yesterday. So far, the angel army led by her has captured 9 floating island worlds. Countless native intelligent races surrendered. The Blue Star professionals who came to those floating island worlds all lowered their heads. I believe that soon, the 14 floating island worlds related to Blue Star will be under the control of the Kingdom of Heaven. Chapter 663. Damn it. How did you get in? That's good news. When he was at 014965 Floating Island, Lin Yu had set a goal, which was to capture all 14 floating island worlds related to Blue Star. And swallowed its origin, merging into a large floating island world. Now that this goal is about to be achieved, he is naturally in a good mood. Lin Yu said to Angelia, "Let the spirit of the world's laws on the floating island send over its newly acquired secrets of the origin of the laws. This can help me master and strengthen the 3,000 laws faster." "As you command, my lord." Angelia immediately sent out a thought. Direct access to 014965 Floating Island World. Now secretary and has resumed his status as the 18-winged archangel. His divine power is far beyond his peak. Conveying thoughts to the floating island world is just a small thing for her and can be done easily. In fact, Lin Yu can also do it and pass the order directly to the spirit of law in the floating island world. After all, he has the identity of the island owner and is tied to the spirit of law in the floating island world. He just habitually leaves things to secretary and to handle. I have to admit that Angelia's existence makes Lin Yu, the hands-off shopkeeper, feel very comfortable. Lin Yu asked. After the fusion of the floating island, there was no trouble among the professionals from the Blue Star countries, right? Angelia said respectfully. There was a rebellion a few days ago, led by Beautiful Country, Sakura Country and Banksy Country. But in the face of your kingdom's army, the rebels were easily suppressed. In the past few days, both the floating island world and Blue Star have been extremely peaceful. That's good. Lin Yu nodded. Although his current identity is far away from the level of the floating island world and Blue Star, he is still very concerned about the events that happened in the floating island world and Blue Star. After all, it was his back garden. Lin Yu said. The next thing we have to do is to capture the battlefield of all realms and the underworld. You will be in charge of the relevant war matters. I plan to rest for one night and then continue the retreat. In this retreat, I want to master the 3,000 laws of the universe in one fell swoop. And on this basis, he became an eternal god. Lin Yu couldn't wait to become a god. Angelia quickly said, I believe my lord will succeed. Deep down in her heart, Angelia was slightly disappointed. Rather than worrying about war, she was more willing to practice in seclusion with the great Lord of Holy Light. But it was obvious that the Lord of Holy Light was not planning to take her into retreat this time. The high probability is related to the fact that there is not much power of creation in the main body of Holy Light. She could only silently pray that the Lord of Holy Light could become a god in one fell swoop. Because in this way, the power of creation within the body of the Holy Light will definitely increase exponentially, and the recovery speed will also become faster. By that time, she will be able to have more in-depth communication with the great Lord of Holy Light. Fortunately, Lin Yu didn't master the ability to read minds. If he knew what Angelia was thinking, his arms would tremble and his face would change drastically. His secretary and has obviously regarded him as a charging plug. Never give up until fully charged. And this is also the fundamental reason why Lin Yu chose to retreat alone this time. His body was really struggling. Time flies and the next day comes. Lin Yu had a good sleep and felt full of energy. The only drawback is that the power of creation in the body recovers too slowly. However, this is not important. After finishing breakfast under Angelia's service, Lin Yu went directly into the retreat room in the backyard of the central temple and took out the super artifact, the Tower of Eternity. With a thought, he entered the Tower of Eternity. And it goes directly to the 3,000th floor of the Tower of Eternity. As the master of the Tower of Eternity, Lin Yu does not need to pass the so-called test and must master the 3,000 laws to reach the top. He can do it directly. If Clovis knew about this, the former Titan God King would probably become jealous again. The source of divine power in this space is as vast as the ocean. Even if the Supreme God devotes all his strength to swallowing it, it will be difficult to swallow it clean. In addition, the secret of the law is also perfect. And all the mysteries of the 3,000 laws are filled in it, allowing me to comprehend it to my heart's content. While muttering to himself, a huge and burly figure appeared in front of Lin Yu. It is the spiritual projection of the Tower of Ion. Great Lord of Holy Light, I wonder what your orders are. I want to retreat here, and I will leave the matter of protecting the Tao to you. You must help me master the 3,000 laws in one fell swoop and reach the level of the true God. By your will, my great master. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity saluted with a solemn expression. When Lin Yu sat down and entered a state of meditation, it respectfully retreated not far away, focusing entirely on Lin Yu. I don't know how long it took. Another figure quietly appeared in this space. It did not disturb Lin Yu, who was comprehending the secret of the law. It actually frightened the Tower of Eternity's intelligence, and even almost caused him to curse. It's you. Damn it. How did you get in? Chapter 664. My name is OTI. Look at the battlefields of all realms, and even the entire universe. There are not many creatures that can frighten the intelligence of this super artifact, Tower of Eternity. It can be said that they are very few and far between. Even in the face of an existence like the 12 Titans, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity would not be as shocked as it is now, or even swear. After all, its body is a super artifact. The spirit of the top equipment in the universe. It is difficult to threaten the Titan with its first level power. However, facing the horror of the Tower of Eternity's intelligence, the quietly appearing figure just glanced at it indifferently, then turned his head again and set his sights on Lin Yu. Like a conditioned reflex, the spiritual wisdom of the Tower of Eternity was protecting Lin Yu. While mobilizing the original power of the laws of the Tower of Eternity, it said in an angry voice, "This is the reincarnation of the Lord of Holy Light. Do you dare to take his ideas and seek death? Hear this." The figure finally spoke and said slowly, "Don't worry, I have the same mission as you, to protect the Lord of Holy Light and to be the transcendent protector of the Lord of Holy Light." You protect the Lord of Holy Light? Lingzi from the Tower of Eternity looked at this figure in surprise. How can it be? I clearly remember that when the angel clan created by the Lord of Holy Light came to the battlefield of all realms, you tried to stop it, but you were later suppressed by the Lord of Holy Light. The figure said, "The guy who disrespected the Lord of Holy Light is dead." What? Hear this. The spirit of the Tower of Eternity was so frightened that he took several steps back. It's dead. Then who are you? My name is OTI. The figure introduces itself. However, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity was not satisfied with this answer. What can a name mean? It asked again. Where are you from? Why have I never heard of you? The figure who called himself OTI glanced at the spiritual intelligence of the Tower of Eternity and said, "What can you, a little super artifact spirit, know?" The wisdom of Ion. All in all, it was born over 1 billion years ago. When it was born, neither the Thunder Titan clan nor the Angel clan had yet appeared in this universe. Even compared to the 718 winged archangels of the Angel clan, it is considered a very ancient existence. But now, it is actually called a little super artifact spirit. This gave it a feeling of contempt. I really want to get angry and suppress the guy in front of me directly. Even if you forcefully break into its body, and you don't take it seriously, how can it endure its violent temper? However, after holding my breath for a long time, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity finally chose to swallow the depression in its heart. The reason is simple. It has no confidence that it can suppress the guy in front of it. Even if it is a super artifact and its body contains the 3,000 laws of the universe, it has no confidence that it can win. Because this guy is the spirit of world law in the battlefield of all realms. Its origin of the world, the secret power of its laws, can be said to be the best in the universe. The only thing that can be stronger than it is the avenue of the universe. In addition, the spirit of world law on the floating island of all realms is comparable to the spirit of world law on the battlefield of all realms. Unfortunately, its body was shattered during the battle between the Holy Demon and the Holy Demon. Of course, it doesn't matter. What's important is that it urgently wants to know the origin of this spirit of law in the battlefield of all realms in front of it, who calls himself OTI. Before the spirit of world law swallows up the battlefield of all realms. What is her identity? Could it be said that she is also an angel created by the Lord of Holy Light? But the problem is that there was no angel clan at that time. Moreover, there are no angel wings behind OTI, and the whole body appears in human form. In addition, although OTI's words were full of contempt for it and made it very dissatisfied, it also heard some information from it. That is this, OTI, born even further back than that. Maybe it can be traced back to the time when the 12 Titans were born. As everyone knows, the 12 Titans were creatures born from the air of chaos after the universe was formed. They can be called the oldest intelligent race in the universe, second only to the Lord of Holy Light. Just at this time, OTI took out a bright ball of light from his body. The ball of light was dazzling, exuding an aura that terrified even the minds of the Tower of Eternity. Soon, under the control of OTI, the light ball slowly floated towards Lin Yu, who was closing his eyes to comprehend the secret of the law. Saw this scene. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity immediately stepped forward to stop him, mobilizing the original power to intercept the light ball. Let me tell you clearly first, what is this? Before completely trusting OTI, it would not dare to let OTI do anything to the Lord of Holy Light. After all, the Lord of Holy Light is its master now. OTI frowned slightly when he saw this. Then he fixed his eyes on the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity. Her eyes were pure gold. There seemed to be scenes of the birth and destruction of the universe in the golden pupils, which was very shocking. Chapter 665 The Origin of the Law of the Universe. The wisdom of Ion looked at OTI without timidity. It will never take a step back when it comes to the Lord of Holy Light. Until much later, OTI suddenly spoke and said, "You should be glad that the Lord of Holy Light is practicing in seclusion." Hearing this, the spirit of the Tower of Eternity suddenly breathed a secret sigh of relief, then sneered and said, "Even in the outside world, do you think I am really afraid of you?" From the perspective of the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity, whether it can be beaten or not is another matter. But you can never lose with your words. Otherwise, it will disgrace the Lord of Holy Light. As for OTI, he obviously doesn't want to quarrel with the wisdom of the Tower of Ion. She shifted her gaze and looked at the bright ball of light suspended in midair, and said, "This is the original power of the law of the universe, one of the most precious things in the entire universe. It was born out of chaos. It is the origin of all things and the destination of all things. Your power can only help the Lord of Holy Light master the 3,000 laws, but if you want to integrate the 3,000 laws and realize the unification of the avenue, you have to rely on the original law of the universe's avenue." Heard this explanation. Then he looked at the dazzling ball of light. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity suddenly took a breath of air. Its eyes widened. He looked dumbfounded as he had never seen the world before. Is this the origin of the law of the universe? How can it be? Isn't this kind of treasure in the hands of the universe? According to common sense, no one or any living thing can collect this kind of thing. It is rarer than any other divine object in the universe. As he spoke, it had unknowingly stepped aside and dispersed his original power. In the ball of light, it indeed sensed an extremely mysterious aura of the avenue, and it believed that OTI had not deceived it. This thing is of great use to the Lord of Holy Light's transcendent plan. OTI controlled the ball of light to merge into Lin Yu's body. At the same time, he said like a murmur, "Since replacing that guy as the spirit of the world's laws in the battlefield of all realms, I have collected the original power of the laws of the avenue of the universe through the connection between the battlefield of all realms and the avenue of the universe. There's another guy just like that. The mission is also to collect the origin of the laws of the universe. It's a pity that that guy was too careless and tried to steal the origin of the great law of the Abyss universe through the big crack in the universe during the battle between the Holy Demon and the Holy Demon. Although I succeeded in stealing part of it, I also paid a heavy price." The consciousness was forcibly shattered by the avenue of the Abyss universe, and the body was also exploded. "Are you so arrogant?" The Tower of Eternity was shocked to the point of being dumbfounded. Not to mention stealing the origin of the great law of the Abyss universe, even collecting the origin of the great law of this universe is something that it dares not even think about. Just because the power of the universe's avenue is infinite. In front of the avenue of the universe, as a super artifact, it is also vulnerable. With the power of the cosmic avenue, it can be said to be easy to destroy its intelligence. Therefore, even if it knows that the origin of the laws of the universe is a supreme treasure, and it is also a life-changing treasure for a super artifact like it, it does not dare to covet it. But now, what did it hear? Something it never dared to imagine was actually done and succeeded. Although the other guy paid a huge price, it can still be said that Crass is awesome for successfully stealing the origin of the Abyss universe. And for the creatures in this universe, this is even more of a great achievement. After all, if the origin of the avenue is damaged, the entire universe will be greatly affected. The Void Demon tribe first failed in the battle, and then part of its cosmic origin was robbed, which definitely made matters worse. After tens of millions of years have passed, it is still a question whether the racial power of the Void Demon clan has recovered, let alone improved its strength. According to the wisdom of Ion, this is an excellent message. After all, the cosmic war is coming again. The weaker the Void Demon clan is, the less pressure this universe will face. This way, under the control of OTI, the ball of light has successfully integrated into Lin Yu's body and entered his spiritual consciousness. As soon as he arrived near Lin Yu's soul, Lin Yu's natal super artifact, the Origin Scepter, seemed to have revived and put away the light ball. At the same time, a mysterious power emanates from the Scepter of Origin, integrating into Lin Yu's soul bit by bit. It was visible to the naked eye that Lin Yu's soul was growing rapidly. Although the realm has not changed much, and there is no sign of breakthrough, its strength, quality and other aspects are growing rapidly, and it can even be said that it is undergoing earth-shaking changes. This mysterious power is the origin of the laws of the universe. Because its size was too terrifying, the Origin Scepter did not dare to be absorbed directly by Lin Yu. It could only be transmitted to Lin Yu bit by bit to prevent Lin Yu's soul and body from being assimilated by it. The so-called assimilation. It is the origin of the great law that turns into nothingness. In that situation, Lin Yu was equivalent to being indirectly swallowed up by the laws of the universe. Chapter 666 When the universe took shape. With the protection of the Scepter of Origin, my lord will not have any problems. OTI used her mind to examine Lin Yu's internal situation, and saw that Lin Yu's soul was slowly integrating with the origin of the laws of the universe, and she was completely relieved. So many origins of the laws of the universe. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said with emotion, if you give it to me, I might be able to evolve into a true weapon of the universe and become more powerful than the Origin Scepter. The previous expulsion of Lin Yu from the Sea of Spiritual Consciousness by the Origin Scepter. The wisdom of Ion has never been forgotten. Defeating the Origin Scepter and replacing it as Lin Yu's natal super artifact has become the obsession of the Tower of Eternity. It dreams of breaking through itself and becoming a true weapon of the universe. Only in this way can it get rid of the Origin Scepter that Peng beat it to. It is a pity that the origin of the laws of the universe does not belong to it. It also has no intention of taking anything by force. Not to mention whether it can defeat the Origin Scepter, and whether the spirit of the law of the battlefield of all realms next to him who calls himself OTI can suppress it. Just its status as Lin Yu's artifact prevented it from doing anything detrimental to Lin Yu. To put it more seriously, even if Lin Yu lets it destroy itself, it can't resist. OTI glanced at the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity, and then said, serve my lord well and obey my lord's will. When my lord achieves transcendence and becomes the master of the universe in the future, he may help you to reach a higher level. Quote. My lord, Ion's Lingzi looked at OTI in astonishment. Then he said, my guess just now is correct. You are indeed a creature created by the Lord of Holy Light. But I don't know what kind of existence you are. You can even swallow and replace the spirit of world law in the battlefield of all realms. Hearing this, OTI's eyes fell on Lin Yu. There was infinite reverence in the golden pupils. She spoke slowly and said, when the universe was formed, apart from countless dead celestial bodies, there was no other breath of life in the starry sky. The Lord of Holy Light saw this and created us with the power of creation. The mission our Lord has given us is to sow the seeds of life in the universe. After many billions of years, the avenue of the universe is perfect. The seeds of life begin to sprout. Countless primitive creatures tainted with the aura of chaos were born. The 12 titans who created the ancient Titan family are also one of them. Among those primitive chaotic creatures, the power of the 12 titans is not the strongest, but they possess mature spiritual wisdom. Other primitive chaotic creatures are affected by the beginning of the universe and the breath of chaos. They often enter a state of madness and destroy all matter in the universe. Therefore, our task has become to clean up and seal these crazy primitive chaotic creatures. This mission will continue until the gate of chaos appears. After knowing that there are other universes outside the universe, and that the gate of chaos was also attacked, the great Lord of Holy Light began to prepare his own plan for transcendence. Because my Lord knows, the heaven and earth are infinitely vast, and the chaos is boundless. It is not impossible to give birth to a creature more powerful than him. To prevent our universe from being invaded or even destroyed by forces from other universes, our Lord needs to become stronger. It's a pity that the universal Tao is ignorant and very resistant to my Lord's approach, so my Lord can only think of other ways. If not for this, my Lord would have already achieved transcendence and descended into the world of chaos. Why abandon the original body and reincarnate? You must know that my Lord's body is the supreme holy body of chaos that cannot be destroyed even by the great avenue of the universe, and its strength is far above that of super artifacts. Speaking of this, OTI showed a hint of coldness in his eyes. Obviously, she is dissatisfied with the inhumanity of Universe Avenue. But fortunately, I have the comfort of the Lord of Holy Light. The great Lord of Holy Light told her that on the day of transcendence, the Lord of Holy Light would personally destroy the avenue of the universe and let them to become the new avenue of the universe. She has been waiting for this day for so many years. The spiritual wisdom of the Tower of Eternity asked, "Isn't your companion the spirit of the world law of the floating island of 10,000 realms?" Good. OTI nodded. Perhaps it was because he hadn't chatted with anyone for a long time, so OTI talked a bit too much. But then again, the Tower of Eternity has become an artifact of the Lord of Holy Light, so it doesn't matter if we chat for a while. The floating island of 10,000 realms is a supergiant world of divine power created by our Lord to simulate the battlefield of 10,000 realms. Its original power is greater than the battlefield of all realms. However, that guy was too arrogant and provoked the laws of the Abyss universe, so it is still a pile of fragments. But it won't take long for that guy to recover and come back. At that time, we can follow the Lord of Holy Light and participate in the upcoming battle in the universe. In this battle, I will kill the Demon Emperor of the Void with my own hands. Hearing this, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity suddenly wanted to sneer. How powerful is the Demon King of the Void? That was a terrifying creature that even the Lord of Holy Light couldn't kill. Although he was defeated that year, he managed to escape back to the Abyss universe with his heavily injured demon body. Although the spirit of world law in the 10,000 realms battlefield is indeed powerful and can easily suppress the supreme gods, it is still basically impossible to kill a powerful person at the level of the Void Demon Emperor. Chapter 667. How can the Demon King of the Void compare to my Lord? How? You don't believe that I can kill the Demon Emperor of the Void? OTI glanced sideways at the wisdom of the Ion. The strange light blooming from the golden pupils made the Tower of Eternity's spiritual instincts feel horrified. This guy is not easy to mess with. Once you attack it, even if it is a super artifact, it will not be able to withstand it. Will be beaten to pieces. Thinking of this, the spiritual intelligence of the Tower of Eternity really surrendered and said quickly, "Of course I believe you can suppress the Void Demon Emperor. After all, you are the most powerful spirit of world law in our universe." Hearing this, OTI snorted coldly. Then he said, "The Void Demon King at his peak was only as powerful as the 12 Titans combined. In addition, he was severely wounded by my Lord back then. Tens of millions of years have passed, and even if he has recovered, it will be difficult for his strength to improve much. With my power, it is not impossible to kill him." Hearing OTI's serious words, Ion's intelligence was suddenly confused. After a long time, it asked doubtfully, "Does that mean that your current power is almost as strong as that of the Lord of Holy Light back then?" "How can it be?" OTI shook his head and said, "Even if I can suppress the Void Demon Emperor, my power is only 1/10,000th of that of my Lord. My Lord is the invincible existence in the universe." "Then I don't understand," the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said. "Since the power of the Lord of Holy Light is so powerful, why couldn't he suppress the Demon King of the Void back then? He escaped back to the Abyss universe dragging his seriously injured body." OTI said, "That's because my Lord doesn't want to kill him. The strength of the Demon King of the Void is basically equivalent to the Supreme God who controls 1,000 supreme laws. And my Lord, with his great power, he can directly create 3,000 supreme laws. Back then, my Lord only used the power of creating more than 1,000 supreme laws to severely injure the Demon King of the Void. If my Lord wanted to kill him, he would have no chance to escape." Lingzi of the Tower of Eternity exclaimed, "I never expected that the Lord of Holy Light would still retain his strength back then. All the intelligent beings in the universe have always believed that the Void Demon Emperor is powerful enough to rival the Lord of Holy Light, including the gods on the battlefield of all realms. But I didn't expect. There is actually a hidden secret hidden in it." OTI sneered and said, "The great Lord of Holy Light is a supreme creature of chaos who was born together with the universe, and the Demon Emperor of the Void is just a more amazing practitioner on the road to seeking the Tao. Whether it's in terms of strength, personality, or genes, the demon emperor of the void is far from qualified to stand shoulder to shoulder with my lord. Lingzi of the Tower of Eternity asked curiously, why did the Lord of Holy Light deliberately let go of the void demon emperor back then? Wouldn't it be better to kill him directly and make the void demon clan lose its ruler? OTI said, beings at the level of the void demon emperor are not enough to threaten the great Lord of Holy Light. Whether he is dead or alive, it will not have any impact on my lord. The reason why my lord let him go is just to use his eyes to see the world outside the universe. Although the great Lord of Holy Light is an invincible creature in the universe, he is inevitably restricted by the avenue of the universe. If you want to leave the universe, you can only enter the realm of transcendence. Unfortunately, my lord was not detached back then. So I deliberately let go of the void demon emperor and let him become my lord's eyes to peer into the outer universe. So that's it. The wisdom of Ion suddenly dawned. OTI's words made it seem like he had seen another world. There is a sense of rearranging cognitive perspectives. And after, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity asked again quickly. Later, OTI fell silent. Yes, what happened next? The spiritual wisdom of the Tower of Eternity asked, what did the Lord of Holy Light see in the outer universe? OTI shook his head and said, I don't know what my lord saw in the outer universe. I only know that not long after, my lord saw me for the last time and handed over his body to me. Then he chose reincarnation. Hearing this, the face of Lingzi from the Tower of Eternity changed. His expression also became very serious. It knows with its buttocks that there must be great horror hidden in the outer universe. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the Lord of Holy Light to choose reincarnation so neatly. After all, reincarnation comes at a huge price. The body, the Godhead, the divinity, and the divine power of a lifetime must all be abandoned. Even the memories have to be sealed. Only in this way can the most perfect reincarnation and reconstruction be achieved. But this kind of practice is a great test for any living being, and the price paid will be very high. Moreover, once there is a problem in any link, all previous efforts will be in vain, and it may be catastrophic. It can only be said that the sudden reincarnation of the Lord of Holy Light has a plan, but it also feels like being forced into danger. Chapter 668 Are You Driving Me Away? The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity took a deep breath and said, I pray that the Lord of Holy Light's transcendent plan can be successfully realized, and then protect countless living beings in this universe. Hearing this, OTI also prayed silently. Although she has absolute confidence in the great Lord of Holy Light, she still feels a little uneasy. After all, this is beyond the universe. Its difficulty index is much higher than that of a mortal being who successfully cultivates to the realm of the Supreme God. The success rate for this kind of thing when it comes to other people is almost infinitely close to zero. Only the Lord of Holy Light, this great being who was born with the universe, can successfully realize it. After the prayer is over, OTI then cursed the Universal Avenue again. If it weren't for the restrictions and lack of cooperation of the Universal Avenue, how could her creator take the risk of reincarnation? If the Universal Avenue could fully cooperate with the Lord of Holy Light, the Lord of Holy Light might have already transcended and stood at the pinnacle of the outer universe and chaotic world. This rigid guy isn't her creator's transcendent purpose to protect the universe and the origin of the universe from being plundered by forces from other universes. The result was so inhumane. Not only did they not help, but they also imposed many restrictions. Damn it. Sooner or later it has to be wiped out. Adi thought viciously. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity looked at OTI and asked, Are you also here waiting for the Lord of Holy Light to end his retreat? OTI glanced at it. Are you driving me away? How can it be? This is absolutely impossible. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity shook his head decisively. The guy in front of me who has swallowed the spirit of world law in the battlefield of all realms is more dangerous than the super artifact Origin Scepter. It would rather be beaten up by the Origin Scepter than offend this guy. I don't even dare to measure you. OTI sneered. With super artifacts like the Tower of Ion, she can beat 5 with 1. Having said that, she misses the life of suppressing and sealing those primitive chaotic creatures in the universe. At that time, they were carefree and free, chasing those primitive chaotic creatures fleeing throughout the universe. Live as happily as you want. Unlike now, the spirit of world law that has become the battlefield of all realms has not had a good fight for hundreds of millions of years. When the void demons invaded this universe, had it not been for the Lord of Holy Light's oracle, which prohibited her from participating in the war, and even had to hide to avoid being discovered by the universe. She wants to fight with the demon emperor of the void. While thinking, OTI turned his attention to Lin Yu, who was meditating on the secrets of the law. In her golden pupils, there was a tenderness that could not be described in words. As the Lord of Holy Light embarks on the path of cultivation, those days at Blue Star can never go back. However, she will always remember those mundane memories of more than 10 years in her heart. For her, that memory is the most precious thing. Without any further thought, OTI said to the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity, "In the following days, you will protect the Lord of Holy Light. For some reason, I cannot meet the Lord of Light before he sets foot on the Supreme God. You should not tell the Lord of Holy Light about my appearance here and the origin of the laws of the universe that I brought with me. If the Lord of Holy Light's transcendent plan fails because of you, I will let you deeply understand the methods of my chaos holy angel." Hear this. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity suddenly trembled. He quickly promised that it would never do anything detrimental to the Lord of Holy Light's transcendent plan. "Don't worry, I will never let you down." While speaking, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity secretly glanced behind OTI. It seemed that there were no angel wings, so why did she call herself the Holy Angel of Chaos? OTI saw through the inner world of Ion's wisdom at a glance. However, she was not in the mood to explain it. Not staying for long, OTI disappeared like a bubble. It was as silent as when it came. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity mobilized all the laws and origins of its body to perceive, but it did not discover how OTI left its body. Even my super artifact can come and leave whenever I want. Not even the 12 Titans can do this kind of thing. Such a method is too terrifying. No wonder that guy doesn't even pay attention to the most evil and powerful existence in history, the Demon Emperor of the Void. Now, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity finally understands why when the Dark Goddess Sylvia broke her oath, although the spirit of the world law in the 10,000 worlds battlefield brought down the power of counterattack, it did not cause any harm to Sylvia's reason. The Dark Goddess Sylvia is a follower of the Lord of Light. OTI is the Holy Angel of Chaos, created by the Lord of Holy Light. In other words, they are their own people. How can one's own people beat one's own people? Just pretending is enough. Chapter 669 Another Holy Angel of Chaos. Except for the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity, no one else knew about the appearance of OTI, including several 18-winged archangels stationed at the headquarters of the Wolf God clan, and the supreme goddesses were also unaware of it. After leaving the Tower of Ion, the figure of OTI instantly spanned the boundless void. Entered an unknown dimensional world. In this vast dimensional world, 7 extremely large, floating island worlds are suspended, with a large number of small floating island fragments scattered around. Under the influence of a terrible force, the 7 floating island worlds and countless fragments are rapidly merging. In a few days, the main world of the floating island will be able to merge into one. By then, that guy's consciousness will be completely revived, and his strength will be restored to its peak. Maybe even more powerful. After all, no matter what, that guy successfully plundered part of the avenue origin of the Abyss universe. Although those avenues were originally prepared for the Lord of Holy Light to transcend, that guy also passively absorbed some of them during the plundering process. For the spirit of the world's laws, the origin of the universe is a good thing. While muttering to himself, OTI couldn't help but reveal a hint of envy on his expression. But soon, this trace of envy disappeared again. If it were her, she would have to think about it if she had to exchange tens of millions of years of disintegration and silence of consciousness for the origin of the laws of the universe. What's more, she has been protecting the Lord of Holy Light all these years. He even took care of the Lord of Holy Light in his childhood on Blue Star. Just this honor is not comparable to the origin of the Great Law. In the future, if the Lord of Holy Light succeeds in transcending, he will definitely reward her greatly. In comparison, her reward is even greater. I don't know how long it took. The fragments of the floating island in this dimensional world finally merged together. The aura of the original law that it exudes is simply terrifying to the extreme, making the entire dimensional world tremble, as if it cannot bear its origin. As OTI guessed, After the fusion, the original power of the floating island of 10,000 realms is even greater than that of the 10,000 realms battlefield. In addition, its area is also much larger. As far as the floating island world in front of us is concerned, its area is so huge that even if a true god with powerful divine power wanted to travel across it, it would take tens of thousands of years. No battlefield in the world has such a scale. Just at this time, a figure suddenly appeared in front of OTI. This figure, like OTI, appears in an illusory state. It is formed by condensing the original energy of the world. The difference is that behind this figure there are exaggeratedly large angel wings. Each angel wing carries the secret of the supreme law with different attributes. The colors are even more dazzling and colorful. As for the number of angel wings, there are 12 pairs. This is a 24-winged holy angel of chaos. OTI. The figure said hello to OTI, and then asked, "How long have I been asleep?" OTI glanced at the 24 angel wings behind her and said, "About 50 million years." Hear this. The figure obviously breathed a sigh of relief. A bright smile appeared on her beautiful cheeks, and she said, "It's only 50 million years. It's not a long time. Compared with the long years she has experienced, 50 million years is indeed not a long time." The figure asked again, "Where is my lord?" OTI said, "My lord has been reincarnated and reborn to complete his transcendent plan." The smile on the figure's face suddenly froze, and he said with a stunned expression, "Reincarnation? How could this happen? What happened during my silent years?" OTI said calmly, "Only the reincarnation of our Lord and the attack on the Gate of Chaos are major events, the rest are trivial matters. You should be glad that you woke up now. If it were a little later, you might miss what is coming. The battle of the universe." Hearing this, the figure's expression was angry. The same golden pupils revealed a strong murderous intent. Are the void demons coming again? Those bugs from the stinking ditch are really unrepentant. OTI shook his head and said, "This time, it is not just the void demons who invade our universe, but also enemies from other universes, so my lord chose to reincarnate and rebuild." The figure said coldly, "No matter who dares to invade my lord's universe, kill them all. I was careless back then, and I was hit hard just now. This time, I will never give the Void Demon Clan and the Abyss universe any chance." The words just fell. The figure's brows suddenly wrinkled again, and he said to himself, "OTI, what's going on? I seem to have lost a certain part of my memory. Is there still a body that hasn't been fused?" She looked back at her terrifyingly large floating island. It was soon discovered that there was a small gap in the center of the body. "No wonder I feel wrong. It turns out that part of my core original consciousness is missing. But why can't I feel its presence?" OTI, who was standing aside, explained, "That part of the floating island is on Blue Star. In addition, I have hidden something on Blue Star. You don't have to rush to recall it. Blue Star, a mortal world in which my lord reincarnated." "All right," the figure asked. "What are you hiding? It's so mysterious." OTI said, "My lord's true form." Chapter 670. A big black dog that is unfamiliar with raising. My lord's true form. The figure looked at OTI with a stunned expression. Then his face darkened again and he said, "In order to achieve transcendence, my lord even abandoned his true body. The price he paid was too high. It's more than just the body." OTI said, "My lord has also sealed his own divinity and divinity, including the memories of his life, in the angel god realm. Over the years, my lord has been living on the Blue Star as a real mortal human being. The order in Blue Star is relatively peaceful, and nothing major has happened to my lord. Just after setting foot on the floating island, my lord is always in a very dangerous situation. Fortunately, Angelia, the 18-winged archangel of the angel clan, sensed the existence of our lord in time and came to the lord's side. Otherwise, if something happens, the consequences will be disastrous." The figure looked over and frowned. "As long as you are here, who can threaten my lord except the universal Tao?" In her opinion, their strength has surpassed the universe. Even those primitive chaotic creatures born in the era of chaos are just prey in front of them. Not to mention those supreme gods who claim to stand at the pinnacle of the universe. Looking at the entire universe, the only thing that can threaten the two of them is the avenue of the universe. There is no other living thing. OTI rubbed his forehead and said, "I'm just worried about the avenue of the universe. Ever since I swallowed the spirit of world law in the 10,000 worlds battlefield, that guy has refused to deal with me. As a result, over the past few years, I have not dared to appear in front of my Lord with my true face. I don't even dare to use the original power of the 10,000 worlds battlefield in other worlds. In addition, you have been sleeping all these years, unable to protect my Lord on the floating island. That's why I'm so worried. But fortunately, my Lord was protected by the Angel Clan and successfully passed through the time on the floating island and entered the battlefield of the world. When my Lord finishes this retreat and successfully masters the 3,000 laws of the universe, my Lord's safety will be even higher. Hearing these words from OTI, the figure's expression became even more gloomy. She said coldly, Universal Avenue is targeting us so much, it's really shameful for it. It has even forgotten that if my Lord hadn't created us back then and asked us to hunt down those primitive chaotic creatures throughout the universe, how could its core of the Avenue be perfected so quickly? If my Lord hadn't been guarding this universe conscientiously for countless billions of years, the forces from other different universes have already entered. Once this universe is captured, does it think it can escape? Take the Void Demon Clan as an example. If we were defeated and the Void Demon Clan occupied this universe, its origin of the Avenue would inevitably be swallowed up by the Avenue of the Abyss universe. We are obviously protecting it, but it is always against us. This is a big black dog that has not been raised well. Sooner or later, it will be killed. The figure's expression was vicious, and the golden pupils were full of murderous intent. OTI nodded in agreement and said, if there is a chance in the future, we will really kill the Universal Avenue. This kind of unspiritual avenue law will only bring trouble to my Lord. If it were us who became the spiritual wisdom of the universe, everything my Lord wants to do will be very convenient. You have a point. The figure agreed, but then said, but once we become the spiritual wisdom of the universe and merge with the origin of the universe, we will be limited to this universe forever. What does that matter? OTI smiled and said, this universe is my Lord's base camp. Staying here is equivalent to protecting my Lord. If my Lord captures other alien universes, we can also devour the origin of their avenue and become more powerful. I believe that when you reach a certain level of strength, even the spiritual wisdom of the universe can leave the universe and enter the vast sea of chaos. Hear this. The figure's golden pupils suddenly lit up. During the war between the Holy Demon and the Holy Demon, she wanted to steal the origin of the great path of the Abyss universe, so she was severely injured by it, causing both the accident and the body to collapse. If she and OTI could become the spiritual beings of the universal way, coupled with the great Lord of Holy Light's transcendent success, it will not be difficult for them to devour the origin of the entire Abyss universe. And just like OTI said, after swallowing the origin of the avenue of the Abyss universe, their power will become stronger. This is the battle of the universe. As long as the war can be won and the enemy's universe is invaded, the entire universe where the winner is located will receive huge benefits. Whether it is the origin of the avenue or all the spirits in the universe, they will receive generous rewards. But if you lose, then the loser will be the entire universe. That's why the Shadow was very angry, saying that if their Lord hadn't been guarding the universe for countless years, the universe would have been over. As a result, when their Lord of Holy Light wanted to transcend, however, Universe Avenue stood up to block it. It actually seems a bit ungrateful. Chapter 671 Blue Star is a very special world. We'll talk about the Universal Avenue later. The figure looked at OTI with a puzzled expression and asked, I'm very curious, why do you hide my Lord's body in Blue Star? Logically speaking, my Lord's body is so important, even if it is not sealed in the angel god realm, it should also be hidden in the origin of your world. Blue Star, how can a small mortal world carry the great power of my Lord? Hearing this, OTI shook his head. What do you mean when you shake your head? The figure was even more puzzled. OTI explained, my Lord came to the battlefield of all realms. In addition to informing me of his plan for reincarnation, he also gave me his true body. What my Lord means is, after he leaves, his body will be sealed in the floating island world. This news was leaked for unknown reasons, causing many supreme gods in the battlefield of all realms to know about it. Although they don't know what I have hidden in the floating island world, they believe that it must be the supreme treasure. Even if tens of millions of years have passed, there are still many supreme gods who have never given up searching. The figure sneered and said, my Lord's body is the holy body of chaos, and of course it is the supreme treasure. Those guys dare to covet my Lord's body, sooner or later they will be killed. OTI glanced at her helplessly. Don't be so murderous. My Lord has warned you many times to keep calm at all times, but you have never been able to change your mind. It can't be changed. The figure smiled and said, "This is the character given to me by my Lord." Oti was speechless. Then she continued, "Tens of millions of years have passed, and after my Lord successfully reincarnated, I took my Lord's body out of the floating island world and hid it on the blue star. I didn't do this on my own. It's what my Lord told me before he left. My Lord once told me that his true body must be sealed in the world where he was born. But until now, I haven't figured out why. But one thing is for sure. Blue Star is a very special world. I have verified that the star field where Blue Star is located seems to be isolated from the supervision of the Universe Avenue. And the Blue Star can indeed carry the chaotic aura emitted by my Lord's body. So that's it." The figure thought for a while, and then said, "It seems that my Lord's birth on Blue Star is obviously not random, but part of my Lord's transcendent plan." "You're right, I think so too." Oti nodded and said, "And my intuition tells me that Blue Star is the most important link in my Lord's transcendence plan. This mortal world can help my Lord. I just pray that my Lord can transcend in one fell swoop." The figure said with a pious expression, "In order to transcend, enter the sea of chaos." Not only did the Lord of Holy Light pay a huge price, but she and Oti also paid a huge price. The biggest price is to abandon the ontology as well. Before they became the spirits of the world's laws, the two, them, were the most powerful chaos holy spirits in the universe. They had perfect chaotic bodies, and their strength ranked at the top of the universe's creatures. None of the primitive chaotic creatures born from chaotic energy is them's opponent. The same goes for the 12 Titans who created the Titan family. If it weren't for the mature wisdom of the 12 Titans, and the Lord of Holy Light's compassion for the Titans, they would have eliminated the 12 Titans hundreds of millions of years ago. Later, the Chaos Gate was attacked. The great Lord of Holy Light peeked into the crisis in the outer universe. Start preparing for the Transcendence Plan. And, them, too also abandoned the Chaos body under the command of the Lord of Holy Light. A spirit of world law that was created into a floating island in all realms. The other swallowed up the battlefield of all realms and also became the spirit of the world's laws. You know, they are 24 winged chaos holy angels. But now, their bodies have become the battlefield of all realms and the floating island of all realms. And the original bodies of their chaos holy angels have always been in a state of dust. As for why the Lord of Holy Light wants them to transform into the spirit of the world's laws, one of the reasons is to let them collect the origin of the laws of the universe, which is one of the elements of detachment. As for other purposes, they don't know yet. The Lord of Holy Light never told them either. Don't worry, my Lord's power shocks the past and present, and his consciousness spans the past, present, and future. Even the cosmic avenue that controls everything can only hinder my Lord's transcendence and cause some trouble to my Lord at best. Its power is not enough to pose a real threat to my Lord. My Lord planned all this. He will definitely succeed in transcending. At that time, the universe avenue will have to bow its head to my Lord. This universe is definitely not the end of my Lord. The great creator was born from the moment the universe was formed, overlooking all realms of the universe. He will eventually stand above the sea of chaos, controlling the destiny of all things. Hearing this, the figure immediately said, "I will definitely follow in the footsteps of my Lord and witness this miracle." Chapter 672. If you know your mistakes, you must correct them. Oti said to the figure, "During this period, you will stay in this dimensional world and do not come to the real universe to avoid being sensed by the universe." "No." The figure nodded. Then he asked, "What is the current situation on the battlefield of all realms?" Immediately, images of supreme gods being killed one after another by the 18-winged archangel Angelia appeared in Oti's mind, and then he said, "It's very calm, nothing big happened." "That's good." The figure said, "Now that my master is on the battlefield of all realms, you must protect him well. The battle of the universe is coming soon, and there must be no accidents in my master's transcendent plan." Oti heard this and nodded seriously. Even if the figure doesn't say anything, she will do everything she can to protect the Lord of Holy Light. Aren't there efforts for countless years just for the day when the Lord of Holy Light will succeed in transcending? If the Lord of Holy Light fails to transcend due to her reasons, even if she destroys her consciousness and completely annihilates herself, she will not be able to atone for her sins to the Lord of Holy Light. Oti said, I will always pay attention to my lord's situation and will never let any accident happen. The figure nodded. Then he seemed to think of something. She reached out and grabbed the void behind the floating island world that was so large that it was unimaginable. A sphere emitting dark red light was grabbed out of thin air. She handed the ball of light to Odie's hand and said, "This is the origin of the great law that I stole from the Abyss universe. It should have been handed over to my lord tens of millions of years ago. However, I was careless and was attacked by the Abyss universe. But fortunately, my lord has not reached the last step yet, and there is still time." Oti took the ball of light and said dissatisfiedly, "Originally, you should be like me. The task is to collect the origin of the laws of this universe. It is not difficult. But you were so impulsive that you provoked the great laws of the Abyss universe, which resulted in your consciousness and the floating island of all realms being shattered, and then you fell asleep for tens of millions of years. Fortunately, you also successfully stole part of the origin of the great law. Otherwise, even if my lord doesn't blame you, I will give you some color." Hearing this, the figure raised his head slightly and said, "Oti, in terms of the origin of the world alone, my floating island is more powerful than your battlefield of all realms. You are no match for me." Oti narrowed his eyes slightly. A dangerous light burst out from the golden pupils. "You can try. Just try it." The two Chaos Holy Angels seemed to be about to fight if they disagreed. However, after a long stalemate, the spirit of world law of the floating island of 10,000 realms, who claimed to be stronger, took the lead and said with a flat mouth, "Okay, my sister Oti, I know I was wrong. My master has never scolded me, but you are the only one who knows how to bully me." Oti said, "My lord is kind and loving. Even if you make a mistake, my lord will not bear to punish you. But you must also understand the truth. If you make a mistake, you must correct it. Being so arrogant as to challenge the laws of the universe like that back then will never happen again. Who will be responsible if irreversible consequences occur?" "I see." The figure nodded seriously. Oti said, "I won't tell you any more. I want to return to the battlefield of all realms to purify the origin of the great laws of the Abyss universe as soon as possible and hand them over to my lord." "Okay, feel free to go." The figure said, "I will stay in this dimensional world and wait for my lord's call." Oti nodded slightly. Immediately, her perfect concave and convex figure that showed golden proportions disappeared out of thin air. After Oti left, the figure, with 24 beautiful angel wings on its back, also returned to the terrifyingly large floating island in the distance. She had just recovered, and her strength had not yet returned to its peak state. She needs to consolidate and integrate the origin of her world. Improve your strength as soon as possible. The other side, the headquarters of the Wolf God clan in the battlefield of all realms. More than a dozen huge figures descended from the sky. However, they did not come directly to the central temple area. Instead, they stood on the periphery of the Wolf God clan's headquarters and did not arrive at the central temple until they received permission. "Bradley, Douglas, what are you doing?" Dozens of extremely beautiful figures gathered in the square outside the temple. Among them, the vast majority are stunning and beautiful supreme goddesses. The leader is the 18-winged archangel Angelia, and beside her are Christina, Margaret, and Benista, who are also 18-winged archangels. As for Victoria, Astia, and Quinliza, the three 18-winged fallen archangels, they have already led the army of fallen angels and the army of gods from the alliance of evil gods to attack the underworld. The speaker is Annabelle, the goddess of light. And they obviously didn't look good on these falling from the sky figures. These figures are none other than the supreme gods of the Titans and the supreme gods of the Dragon Clan, headed by the Storm Titan god King Bradley and the Dragon Clan god Douglas. For tens of millions of years, the Holy and Light Camp not only frequently fights with the evil Pantheon Alliance. The relationship with the Titan and Dragon gods is also not good. This is purely because the ancient Divine Camp, headed by the Titans and Dragons, secretly helps the evil God Alliance to fight against their Holy and Light Camp. If it weren't for the Angel Clan withdrawing from the battlefield of all realms, the Holy and Light Camp has no backstage. The Goddess of Light and other supreme goddesses have already started working with the Ancient Gods Camp. Chapter 673 We are here to surrender. Listen to the slightly murderous voice of the Goddess of Light, Annabelle. Douglas, the Dragon God King, and all the supreme gods of the Dragon God realm, as well as the supreme gods of the ancient divine system camp, remained silent. Some of them even thought of leaving. because standing in front of them were dozens of goddesses who controlled the supreme laws and supreme divine power. Among them, there is not only the famous goddess of nature and elves, Heloise, but also the twin god kings who are powerful in all realms of the universe, the goddess of fate and the goddess of luck. There are also 4 18-winged archangels present. The most powerful archangel Angelia, who had killed many peak gods in a row, stood directly opposite them. What a terrifying force this is. Once these goddesses dislike them or want to do evil to them, they will definitely die. For them, following the Storm Titan god King Bradley and running here is tantamount to letting others control their own destiny. It's a very bad feeling. Just at this time, Storm Titan King Bradley stood up. He acted very calmly, because he believed that Angelia and others would not attack them easily. After all, if he wanted to kill them, he would have killed them long ago. Whether it is the 7 18-winged archangels invading the Titan god realm, or the war with the Dragon Clan god realm and the ancient god system camp in the outer world, the 7 18-winged archangels are capable of killing them all. But in the end, the 7 18-winged archangels chose to show mercy. In the Titan god realm, the 7 18-winged archangels did not cause any killing. On the battlefield outside the territory, although these 18-winged archangels killed many supreme gods from the ancient divine camp and the dragon god realm, they did not completely kill them. They were given the opportunity to be reborn with the help of the incarnation. Therefore, Storm Titan god King Bradley has reason to believe that the Angel clan has no intention of destroying the entire Titan god system, the dragon god system, or even the ancient god system. The Angel clan is waiting for them to surrender obediently. The promise made to him by the 18-winged archangel Angelia also proved this point. Without hesitation, Storm Titan god King Bradley immediately turned his attention to Angelia and said with a solemn expression, "Dear Your Highness Angelia, we are here to meet the great Lord of Holy Light. Submit the faith of our Titan gods, dragon gods, and ancient gods to His Majesty the Lord of Holy Light. It is our honor to serve the Lord of Holy Light. I also implore Her Majesty Angelia to give us a chance to meet the Lord of Holy Light." Hearing the words of Storm Titan Lord Bradley, the supreme goddesses present suddenly showed expressions of extreme horror. Their eyes widened. It was like seeing a ghost. The Titan gods, the dragon gods, and the ancient gods, who have always acted like, God is second in command, I am the boss, actually surrendered right now. This made them feel very incredible. Especially the submission of the Titans was simply unbelievable to them. After all, the Titan god system is the most powerful power in the battlefield of all realms, and it has always had the ambition to conquer the battlefield of all realms and all the extraordinary worlds in the universe. But now, the supreme gods of the Titan pantheon took the initiative to surrender. This made them even suspect that these guys had other purposes. Otherwise, how did they surrender so quickly? Although the 7 18-winged archangels had entered the Titan god realm not long ago, they only stole the super artifact Tower of Eternity and did not cause other harm to the Titan god system. The power of the Titan god system is still at its peak. If the Titan god system insists on fighting against the angel camp, as long as it can bring over the supreme gods and armies of gods from other god systems, it will not have no chance of resisting the angel camp for a round. The only people present who did not show shocked expressions were the 4 18-winged archangels, including Angelia, as well as the goddesses of fate and luck. Lady Fate and Lady Luck can see Akaku's future. As for Angelia and others, they had already expected what would happen today. Just when they saw that the leader was Bradley, King of Storm Titans, instead of Clovis, God King of Titans, they already knew that the plan was successful. Bradley succeeded in taking away the throne of God King belonging to Clovis. Angelia smiled lightly and said to Bradley, "I thought it would take some time and effort for you to ascend to the throne of the Titan God King. Now it seems that everything is going very smoothly. I am able to take charge of the power of the Titan God realm, and everything depends on the support of His Highness." Bradley acted very sincerely and said, "Now I only hope that His Highness can keep his promise. Let us embrace the Holy Light and get the protection of the Lord of the Holy Light." Angelia looked at him slightly surprised. This newly appointed Storm Titan God King is so eager to become the god of their Lord of Holy Light. This attitude surprised her. Chapter 674 How did you do it? Angelia originally thought, after Bradley sits on the throne of the Titan God King, he must first enjoy the wonderful feeling brought by the supreme power, and will not consider the pros and cons until he completely calms down. This time should not be too short. But he didn't expect Bradley to run over so quickly. They even brought a number of supreme gods from the Dragon Clan God realm and the ancient gods camp. Angelia, the 18-winged archangel who controls the supreme law of destiny, was a little surprised to come over and surrender so actively. After all, I cannot compete with the omniscient and omnipotent Lord of Holy Light. It is normal for some things to exceed my expectations. Angelia didn't think much about it. On the contrary, the goddess of light, Annabelle, and the goddess of nature and elves, Heloise, and other supreme goddesses once again showed horrified expressions. They all looked at the storm titan King Bradley, who was surrounded by countless storms and thunder. None of them expected. How long has it been? Less than a week has passed since the 718-winged archangels left the Titan God realm. The Titan God realm, the oldest God realm on the battlefield of all realms, has unexpectedly changed hands. And the new God King is Bradley, the King of Storm Titans. As everyone knows, the older the intelligent race, the more they pay attention to the purity of their bloodline. Especially the Titan family. The orthodox bloodline of the Titan clan is the Thunder Titan. As for the Storm Titan, it can only be called a branch of the Thunder Titan family. Just like the relationship between nature elves and forest elves. It is absolutely impossible for forest elves to control the ruling scepter of the nature elves. As for the Storm Titan, it is naturally impossible to control the ruling power of the Titan clan. But what shocked them was that Bradley, who had the blood of the Storm Titan, actually replaced Clovis and became the new Titan King, in charge of the entire Titan clan. Once this message is conveyed, I am afraid that there will be huge waves in all realms of the universe. There will be countless intelligent races in an incredible state. How did you do it? The goddess of nature and elves, Heloise, asked the Storm Titan God King Bradley very directly, saying, "As far as I know, Clovis is not a person who can easily abandon the authority of the God King. But he lost the Ion." Storm Titan God King Bradley said with a smile. "With the loss of the Tower of Eternity, Clovis is the sinner of our Titan family. In addition, the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm is also on my side and supports me. I ascend to the throne of the God King." The latter sentence is the core. This is also the fundamental reason why Bradley was able to become the King of Titans. Whether Clovis loses the Tower of Eternity or not actually does not affect his authority to control the Titan God realm. After all, his identity and strength are there. The power of the Thunder Titans is also enough to suppress the dissatisfaction of some people in the Titan God realm against Clovis. Those people only dare to talk about the title of sinner in private. The root cause. It is that the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm no longer supports Clovis. Forced by this, he had to choose to hand over the authority to rule the Titan God realm. In addition, after Bradley ascended the throne of the Titan God King, the spirit of world law also spread its will throughout the Titan God realm, directly suppressing all dissatisfied voices. Backed by the spirit of the world's laws, the disadvantage of Bradley's impure blood also disappeared. Heloise and the other goddesses present immediately understood the key. The only thing that puzzled them was why the world law spirit of the Titan God realm suddenly changed to support the Storm Titan God King Bradley. Bradley did not provide an explanation for this. Can he say that the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm has received an oracle from the 12 Titans? Can he say that the founder of their Titan clan, the 12 Titans, specifically sent down an oracle, asking him to be obedient and serve the great Lord of Holy Light? Can he say that the 12 Titans, who are comparable to the Lord of Holy Light in legend, also have to obey the Lord of Holy Light's orders to guard the so-called Gate of Chaos? Can he say that the super artifact Tower of Eternity that the Titan clan regards as their clan's most precious treasure was actually tailor-made for the Lord of Holy Light by the 12 Titan gods in compliance with the will of the Lord of Holy Light? Of course not. It's okay for him to know this information himself. Where is Clovis now? He is practicing in seclusion in a forbidden place called Thunder Spirit Holy Land in our Titan God realm. That's a good message. The goddess of light, Annabelle, and others immediately showed bright smiles. Then he turned to look at several supreme gods of the Thunder Titan clan standing behind Storm Titan God King Bradley. Now, Bradley has gathered all the supreme gods in the Titan realm. The former Titan God King Clovis became a loner. This made them happy, because in these years, Clovis was too domineering and suppressed their holy and light camp everywhere. Now that they have fallen to this end, they are naturally happy. Chapter 675. Either don't give it away, or everyone has to give it away. My lord is practicing in seclusion. You can check in at the nearby temple first and wait for my lord to leave seclusion. At this time, Angelia said to Storm Titan God King Bradley and others. Hearing this, Bradley suddenly felt a little regretful. He originally wanted to see the great Lord of Holy Light as soon as possible and submit his tribe's beliefs to avoid any setbacks along the way. Ever since he knew that the ancestors of their Titan clan, the 12 Titans, had to look at the face of the Lord of Holy Light, he had no other ideas. He just wanted to quickly board the giant ship of the Lord of Holy Light. Once on the ship, his position on the throne of the Titan God King will become more secure. At that time, even if the Titan God King Clovis is unwilling and wants to rebel against him, it will not threaten him at all. But since Angelia said so, there was nothing he could do. After thinking for a moment, Storm Titan God King Bradley took out a ball of light from the space artifact he carried with him and handed it to the 18-winged Archangel Angelia with some respect. Your Highness, this is the secret of the world law and part of the original power of our Titan God realm. It's a small thought from Lord Holy Spirit to the Lord of Holy Light. I'm really interested. Angelia put the light ball away with a calm expression and said, I will hand it over to the great Lord of Holy Light later. When my Lord transcends to the highest level, he will definitely look after you, the Titan family. Praise the Holy Light. Storm Titan God King Bradley saluted with a pious expression. Standing behind him, Douglas, the Dragon God King, and other supreme gods from the Dragon God realm and the ancient divine system looked at each other. Careless, none of them came with their heart. Although they are all led by the Titan clan and follow the new Titan God King Bradley. But if you leave aside the Titans and Bradley, they are also an independent force. They also hope that their pantheon will become more powerful. Especially the Dragon God system. Now, Bradley has brought such a generous heart, but they have brought nothing. If the Lord of Holy Light is dissatisfied because of this and puts more care on the Titans, but simply takes care of them, wouldn't they suffer a big loss? How can this work? Thinking of this, Dragon Clan God King Douglas and others suddenly felt anxious. At the same time, he was slandering the Storm Titan God King Bradley in his inner world. This treacherous guy didn't even tell them about bringing gifts, causing them to come empty-handed. Isn't this digging a hole for them? Either we don't give it away, or everyone has to give it away. Your Majesty, what should we do now? I feel like Bradley is trying to trick us. Let's not dwell on this matter for now. Fortunately, the Lord of Holy Light is still practicing in seclusion, so we still have time to prepare gifts. This, Your Majesty, what gift can be compared to the secrets of the world laws and part of the original power of the Titan God realm? The value of this gift cannot be compared to even the supreme artifact. Besides, our Dragon God realm is not as wealthy as the Titan God realm. Even the supreme artifact cannot be obtained. Madness. Douglas, the God King of the Dragon Clan, secretly sent a message and cursed. Bradley can give the secret of the world's laws and the original power, why can't we give it to him? Compared to the supreme artifact, this kind of gift is more in line with the Lord of Holy Light's wishes. Your Majesty is wise. After I settle in temporarily, I will go back to the God realm and ask the spirit of our world law to hand over all the mysteries it has mastered and part of its original power. After all, we can't be compared to the Titan God realm. Well, I'll leave this matter to you. Tell the spirit of world law in the God realm that if it doesn't agree, we will ask the 718-winged archangels of the Angel clan to come over and talk to it. Clear, comma. Later, Storm Titan God King Bradley and his group of supreme gods were taken to a nearby temple to stay temporarily. Now that they know that the Lord of Holy Light is in retreat, they are not in a hurry now. To the supreme God, time is the least valuable thing. Even if the Lord of Holy Light spends 10,000 years in seclusion, they can afford to wait. But Bradley knew that the Lord of Holy Light should be released soon. Because the battle of the universe is coming. From the tone of Lord Holy Spirit, he heard a hint of mystical sound, that is, the gate of chaos guarded by the 12 Titans and the ancient Titans was about to be unable to withstand it. Once the forces from another universe invade, they still have to rely on the Lord of Holy Light to come out and support them. Your Majesty, the 18-winged fallen archangels including Victoria did not appear, nor did the supreme god of the evil Pantheon Alliance who surrendered to the Angel clan. According to the reliable information we received, they are attacking the underworld. Hear this, a Storm Titan supreme god said with emotion. It seems that the Angel clan and the Holy and Light camp really intend to conquer the entire universe. Conquer, conquer. Storm Titan God King Bradley had an indifferent expression on his face. Lord Holy Light once told him that as early as tens of millions of years ago, if it were not for the sudden invasion of the Void Demon clan, the Angel clan would have conquered all realms of the universe. His only thought now, just follow the Lord of Holy Light well. finally survive this terrible war that may affect multiple universes. Chapter 676. An unusually smooth battle between gods. Although Lin Yu is practicing in seclusion, the war in the outside world has never stopped. This side of the battlefield of all realms, the army of gods from the Holy and Light camp has captured the entire Chaos God realm. The divine forces in the Chaos God realm are mainly composed of members of the Evil God Alliance, which are under the command of the killing god King Lawrence, the cursed goddess Claytel, and the lord of the undead Adonis. In addition to the forces of the Evil God Alliance, there are also some forces of the Alien Beast clan, led by Gladstone, the supreme god of the alien beasts. The remaining forces come from other relatively weak pantheons and do not have the protection of the supreme god. The rulers of these weak forces are generally the main gods who possess great divine power. Outside of the battlefield of all realms, the gods at the main god level can be said to be the top powerhouses, standing at the top of all realms of the universe. After all, the number of supreme gods is too small. Even if it is divided into the battlefields of all realms, there are only a few supreme gods in a vast divine realm, let alone spreading to the entire universe. It can be said that the Lord God is the mainstay of the universe. In most extraordinary worlds, gods at the main god level can run rampant, and even advanced civilizations must have a certain amount of awe when facing the main gods. However, in the battlefield of all realms, especially in the War of the Gods, the main god is not very conspicuous. The army of gods from the Holy and Light camp swept all the way from Holy Light Divine Realm, and captured hundreds of large and small divine realms, and then captured Chaos Divine Realm, one of the 9 major divine realms. In this war, the army of gods from the Holy and Light camps have killed a large number of main gods. As long as any god refuses to surrender and refuse to embrace the Holy Light, whether it is a powerful high-level god or a main god with great divine power, they all must die. On the battlefield of faith, there is no such thing as mercy and kindness. Let's talk about Chaos God Realm. When the army of gods from the Holy and Light camp invaded the Chaos God Realm, they actually did not encounter much strong resistance. Even those extremely evil divine forces decisively lowered their heads when faced with the invasion of the Holy and Light camps. The reason is simple. Their alliance rulers had long since surrendered. The boss has surrendered. How can they, the younger brothers, have the courage to resist? Furthermore, in order to help the fallen angel army conquer the underworld more smoothly, several supreme gods from the Evil God Alliance also transferred almost all the evil elite gods from the battlefield of all realms. This also includes the evil elites of the Chaos God realm. It can be said that the ones left behind are all kittens and puppies. Under this situation, they dare not make enemies of the army of gods from the Holy and Light camp. As for the Alien Beast clan and other relatively weak divine forces, facing the army of gods from the Sacred and Light camp, they surrendered without any psychological burden. In general, the Holy and Light camps captured the entire Chaos God realm without actually spending much time and energy. The casualties were also pitifully small. After capturing the Chaos God realm, the armies of gods from the Holy and Light camps united with the army of gods from the Natural God realm, and attacked the surrounding God realms with Chaos God realm and Natural God realm as the center. Basically, the armies of gods from the 2 camps can capture hundreds of large and small divine realms every day. The speed is simply terrifying. Even the supreme goddesses sitting in the headquarters of the Wolf God clan showed surprised expressions when they received the intelligence from the front line. They never thought that the war could go so smoothly. Such a speed of attack does not look like a war of invasion and conquest at all, but more like a direct takeover. The resistance encountered was almost negligible. On the 4th day after the Storm Titan god King Bradley and his group of supreme gods moved into the headquarters of the Wolf God clan, the armies of gods from the Holy and Light camps and the natural gods had already entered the Wild God realm. The Wild God realm is one of the 9 divine realms in the battlefield of all realms. Not only are there countless divine forces and powerful gods, but there are also many supreme gods guarding it. The most important is, the divine forces in the Wild God realm are still very united. Because they are from the same intelligent race, the orcs. In the battlefield of all realms, even the supreme gods of the alien beasts like Gladstone are included in the category of the beast civilization and belong to the branch of the beasts. The territory of Gladstone, the supreme god of the alien beasts, was once and indeed within the Wild God realm. However, due to some reasons, Gladstone had to choose to leave the Wild God realm, and later move the alien beasts under his command to the Chaos God realm. Overall, the overall strength of Wild God realm is very strong. It is completely comparable to the Chaos God realm, which is dominated by the Evil God Alliance, or the Destruction God realm. In addition, civil wars among the gods rarely break out in Wild God realm, and they have never participated in wars against other gods. As a result, the power of the gods in Wild God realm has developed very prosperously. Even domineering forces like the Titan God system rarely come to provoke the Wild God realm. Chapter 677. The Recalcitrant Savage God Realm. This day, the coalition composed of the gods from the Holy and Light camps and the Natural God realm tore apart the realm storms from all directions and poured into the Wild God realm. Facing the invasion from the Holy and Light camp and the Natural God realm, the divine forces in the Wild God realm were obviously well prepared. They did not choose to surrender. Instead, he chose to embark on the path of fighting against the Holy Light. A massive battle in the divine domain breaks out. On the battlefield, the divine forces of the Savage God realm showed unusual unity, and roaring figures charging toward the enemy could be seen everywhere. They fought one after another and were not afraid of death. Even if they died on the battlefield, they seemed to have no fear. Perhaps for them, having their faith distorted by the power of the Holy Light is more difficult to accept than death. In comparison, the gods of the evil Pantheon Alliance are very receptive. Ever since the supreme gods including the Lich Monarch, the Dark Goddess Sylvia, the Spider Goddess Sabaros, etc., have cleaned up the evil Divine Alliance in the base camp. Those evil gods who survived became very obedient. Even if the Lich Lord and others asked them to embrace the Holy Light and change their banner, they did not resist again. The outside forces did not know how many evil gods the Lich Lord and others had eliminated in the base camp of the Evil Gods Alliance, but no matter what, the result made the Lich Lord and others very satisfied. The gods of the evil pantheon not only moved towards the Holy Light collectively. At the same time, their dominance over the evil Pantheon Alliance has reached an unprecedented height. Previously, the Evil God Alliance was divided into multiple camps. In addition to a group of evil supreme gods who control the forces of different camps, there are also many main gods and superior gods, all of whom have their own evil forces. The entire evil divine alliance seems to be very large, but its power is difficult to gather together. But it's different now. The current alliance of evil gods is highly centralized and unified in power. It is controlled by several evil supreme gods such as the Lich Lord and the Dark Goddess Sylvia. This actually makes the evil god alliance's war strength even stronger. If nothing unexpected happens, they will definitely have a very amazing performance on the battlefield in the underworld. It's the same as the current alliance of evil gods. The power of the Wild God realm is also quite concentrated and united. Countless beast gods and alien beast gods, under the orders of several supreme gods of the Wild God realm, rushed into the battlefield with the sacred and light camps and the natural gods. Visible to the naked eye. On this vast battlefield, there are more than 1 trillion gods fighting crazily. All the gods went crazy. The same goes for those goddesses from the sacred and light camp and the natural pantheon. The Holy Light is the most evil belief in the universe. No one can enslave our orcs, not even the Lord of Holy Light. The Wild God realm is the territory of our orcs. You damn Holy Light believers, get out of here. On the battlefield, countless beast gods and alien beast gods were roaring and roaring. Looking at the entire battlefield, there are giant pillars standing straight to the sky everywhere. Each giant pillar reaching the sky is engraved with a divine pattern unique to the beast tribe. This is the totem pillar of the orcs. There are also totem war drums, totem horns, etc. The function of these artifacts is to impart various divine auras to the army of beast gods and alien beasts on the battlefield, and make them more courageous and fearless. Among them, the most important one is the totem pillar. Their existence is not just about adding various halos of divine power, because they themselves are the nodes of the divine array. The divine formation constructed from countless totem pillars almost enveloped the entire Wild God realm, and the power of the divine formation it deployed was terrifying to the extreme. Every time the power of the divine formation breaks out, it will kill a large number of enemies in an instant. Since the battle up to now, most of the gods who have fallen on the battlefield from the holy and light camps and the natural gods have been killed by this sky-reaching totem formation. The number of holy light gods and nature gods who died at the hands of the orc and alien beast armies was actually a minority. In terms of the total number of casualties, more gods fell from the holy and light camp and the natural pantheon. This is the advantage of the orc camp occupying the main battlefield. However, even so, it cannot scare away the army of gods from the holy and light camp and the natural god system. Instead, inspired by the power of faith, they fought more and more bravely. Because they always firmly believe that even if they die on the battlefield, the holy light will save them. And just when this war was heating up, countless beautiful and holy figures descended from the sky like torrents. Accompanying the appearance of these figures were terrifying beams of light like a dense network. These beams of light spanned an infinite distance in an instant and hit the heavenly totem formation directly, causing the formation to tremble nonstop. And just after a few rounds of attacks, the heavenly totem formation was shattered. Countless pillars reaching into the sky collapsed at this moment. Above the 9 heavens, a vast ocean-like army of angels descended. Chapter 678. The strongest has his own right. Dense thunderstorms appeared frequently in the sky above the savage god realm. That was the roar from the magic cannons mounted on the city of angels. Look around. With the disintegration of the Tongtian totem formation, countless cities of angels, large and small, fell from the sky like meteors. They gathered in the sky above the wild god realm, tearing apart countless clouds and lighting up the dark night sky like bright stars. Accompanying the appearance of the city of angels army were countless dazzling magic cannon beams, which intertwined into a dense network that nearly enveloped the entire wild god realm. All I heard was deafening roars. The whole world trembled together. Immediately afterwards, countless large and small mushroom clouds appeared on the battlefield below in the savage god realm. In an instant, countless creatures were turned into ashes. After several rounds of continuous bombardment, the armies of gods and gods from various forces in the wild god realm suffered heavy losses one after another. Countless gods fell, and even the once famous and powerful people perished. The power of large city of angels is enough to threaten the Lord God who holds great divine power. That is to say, the city of holy angels, the vehicle of the 718-winged archangels, did not come to this battlefield, otherwise even the supreme gods would have difficulty resisting it. Previously on the extraterritorial battlefield near Titan God Realm, the supreme gods of the Dragon Clan God Realm and the ancient gods camp have personally experienced the power of the 7 cities of holy angels. When countless cities of angels were bombarding the battlefield of the wild god realm, there are also powerful gods from the orcs and alien beasts appearing, trying to intervene in the bombardment plan of the angel city army. But obviously, they didn't succeed. They all fell to the strongest attack methods of those large angel city. Like City of Holy Angels, City of Large Angels' strongest attack method is to project super giant figures. And these super giant figures are all archangels with 16 angel wings. The 16-winged archangels are all powerful beings at the pinnacle of the main god level. The super giant figures controlled by them also have the combat power of the main god level. With them guarding it, it would be difficult for the enemy to destroy the large city of angels under normal circumstances, let alone destroy the entire army of Angel City. After the attack of Angel City army is over, the vast and mighty army of angels also entered the battlefield below. The appearance of the angel army dealt an even more fatal blow to the already severely damaged orc coalition. The orcs are an intelligent race with amazing reproductive capabilities. The same goes for the alien beasts. A huge population base, a strong talent bloodline. In addition, since the end of the Holy Demon War era tens of millions of years ago, the orcs have developed steadily in the wilderness of the gods, rarely participating in the wars between the gods, and very few gods have fallen. This results in a very large number of gods in the beast tribe. Now with the addition of alien beast gods, Warcraft becoming gods, its scale is even more astonishing. It can be said that no matter which god's domain force faces the battlefield of the world, the army of the orc camp that rules the wild god domain has an almost absolute advantage in scale. This can be seen from the fact that the 2 super divine domain forces of Holy and Light camp and natural god system were not able to capture the wild god realm in the first time. Instead, they lost a larger number of gods. However, there is nothing wrong with saying something. There is heaven outside the sky, and there are people outside the world. The strongest has its own strong hand. In the 10,000 Realms battlefield, the orc camp army had a numerical advantage. Now when the enemy they faced was the Angel clan, this advantage was instantly gone. Because the Angel army is even bigger. Whether it is the number of ordinary gods or the number of powerful gods, the Angel army far exceeds the orc camp coalition, and it is the orc camp coalition before it was bombarded. It is conceivable that when such an army of angels comes to the battlefield, what kind of blow will it cause to the coalition forces of the orc camp? Can only say. Shortly after the angel army arrived on the battlefield, the coalition of the beast camp collapsed. The main reason is that the war power of the angel army is too terrifying. Even with the aura blessing of various totem artifacts, the beast gods and alien beast gods on the battlefield were quickly killed and their faith collapsed. The surrounding friendly troops fell in pieces. Looking around, companions and friendly troops were wailing and being slaughtered everywhere on the battlefield. And the enemies are all like ruthless killing machines. Let me ask, who is not afraid of such a war? The secondary reason is that the angel army does not respect martial ethics. Immediately after arriving on the battlefield, those divine magic level angels waved their divine staffs and released the magic of resurrection, resurrecting the allies of the Holy and Light Camp and the natural god system who had fallen on the battlefield. The angels' resurrection magic is the best in the universe. As long as the soul is not completely annihilated, the angels' resurrection magic can take effect. Therefore, as the dense light of resurrection magic enveloped the battlefield, countless figures appeared out of thin air in an instant. Seeing this scene, the coalition mentality of the orc camp immediately collapsed. Chapter 679. Do you want to die? Damn it. This is totally bullying the weak. Even the angel army has joined the war. How can such a war be won? In a void of different dimensions, several figures gathered together. They are the supreme gods who rule the orc camp and even the entire wild god realm. Throughout the battlefield of all realms, they are also famous. But now, they are a little angry and unable to suppress their inner indignation. Just because the angel clan joined the war. And it's an extremely standard battle mode. Before entering the battlefield, the angel clan used countless angel city to carry out blanket bombardment on the battlefield. Clear out a large number of enemies first, destroy the enemy's camp, and deal a heavy blow to the enemy's morale. Then a long ocean-like army of angels came in. Suppress all heretics. This kind of combat mode seems simple and crude, but it is very effective. Especially when used by the angel family, it is absolutely invincible. After tens of millions of years, the supreme gods of the wild god realm present witness the elegance of the angel army again. The only bad thing is, the attack target of the angel army is the territory under their rule. If it were other divine realms, they would be happy to watch the show. But when it happens to themselves, it's terrible. No way. If there is no army of angels participating in the battle, we would have a chance to repel the legions of gods from the Holy and Light Camp and the natural god system. After all, this is our home field. We still have a lot of tricks up our sleeves that we haven't used yet. Even if the invaders cannot be wiped out, there is still no problem in guarding the wild god realm. But now, speaking of this, several of the supreme gods of the orc camp had gloomy expressions. With the current situation of the war, it is completely impossible for the army of the savage god realm under their rule to win this war. After all, they are far from powerful enough to defeat the angel army. Angels are divine beings. It is a perfect intelligent creature created by the Lord of Holy Light. The combat effectiveness of high-ranking angels at the same level is no less than that of the orthodox Thunder Titan, or even stronger. Compared to the beasts, the individual combat effectiveness of angels is even more terrifying. In addition, the size of the angel army far exceeds the army of gods in the wild god realm. Individual combat effectiveness is incomparable. Scale is not an advantage. And the war weapons they created couldn't compete with the angel clan's city of angels. Let me ask, how can such a war be won? To put it bluntly. Not to mention theirs is a wild god realm, even if all the hundreds of large and small god realms around them were added up, they would not be able to withstand the attack of the angel army. For the army of beast gods and alien beast gods on the battlefield. The outcome of this war has been decided. It's just a question of when it will end. But it seems, whether it is the angel clan, the Holy and Light Camp, or the natural god system, there is no powerful person at the level of the supreme god to participate in the war. If we join in now, using the supreme law and supreme divine power, we can definitely kill countless angels in an instant. It is not impossible to help the wild god realm win this battlefield. The supreme god is equivalent to a nuclear weapon on the mortal battlefield. Once used, the air will be released every second. No matter how large the angel army is and how amazing its war strength is, it is impossible to compete with the power of the supreme god. Do you want to die? An orc supreme god with golden hair all over his body gave a cold shout and said, "Angels, holy light, and nature, these three forces have joined forces to attack our wild god realm, but they did not use the supreme god to attack. Can't you see such an obvious problem? They are obviously giving us a chance to surrender obediently and stop making pointless resistance." If we join the war and use the power of the supreme gods to suppress the ordinary angels and ordinary gods on the battlefield, then we will be dead. If nothing else happens, the supreme gods of these three factions will rush to the battlefield as soon as possible. Kill us on the spot. It's even possible that they are watching us secretly right now. Quote. Hear those last words. The other supreme gods of the beast tribe suddenly felt a creepy feeling. Especially the supreme god of the beast race, who just proposed to personally participate in the war and use his supreme power to suppress the battlefield, was so frightened that his face turned pale. He had an inexplicable feeling of fear that was going around the gate of hell. Although he is the supreme god, standing at the pinnacle of the universe, with hundreds of billions of subordinate gods, eternal and eternal. But he has to face those 18 winged archangels of the angel clan. Especially the 18-winged archangel Angelia. He was still very guilty. Everyone knows that this most powerful 18-winged archangel seems to have a gentle and kind personality, but in fact he kills without blinking an eye. Chapter 680. A show of hands, the minority obeys the majority. What should we do? Another supreme god from the orc camp frowned and said, if we don't take action, wouldn't we just watch our subordinate gods being massacred by the angel army? In fact, according to the current battle situation, it won't be long before the entire wild god realm is likely to be captured by the angel army. We have to find a way out. Solution to the crisis we are facing now. How? What can be done? The supreme god of the beast race, who was covered with golden hair, said, either surrender, or you can only watch the angel army conquer the wilderness of the gods. For the former, we may be able to preserve this place of faith. The forces belonging to God in the camp will not be completely wiped out. The disadvantage is that we will bow our heads to the angel clan and submit our faith to the Lord of Holy Light. And the latter, although it will make us lose countless gods and wild gods, but we will gain freedom. It will not be easy for the angel family to find us after leaving the battlefield of all realms. Surrender. Impossible. I will never surrender to the Holy Light even if I die. An orc supreme god said, if we surrender, this war will not happen. Agree. We are all the supreme gods who stand at the pinnacle of the universe, roaming the universe freely. Once we become the gods of the Lord of Holy Light, we will be shackled. Without freedom, we will also lose the opportunity to climb higher mountains. Another orc supreme god expressed his unwillingness to surrender. At this time, the supreme god of the beast race with golden hair said, if we don't surrender, we must stay away from the battlefield of all realms, otherwise sooner or later we will fall into the hands of those 18-winged archangels. The battlefield of all realms is the center of the universe. It is also a big stage that belongs to our supreme god. After leaving the battlefield of all realms, even if we run rampant in those extraordinary worlds, what's the point? You mean surrender? Compared to being expelled from the battlefield of all realms and wandering in the universe, there is a high chance that I will choose to bow my head to the holy light. As for the so-called freedom and the opportunity to climb higher mountains, it is meaningless to me. The supreme god of the golden-haired beast tribe said, as the supreme gods who control the supreme laws, we have reached the end when we reach the peak level at most. How can there be any hope of breaking through to the highest level and rivaling the 12 titans of the Titan clan? This is all just conjecture. Hear this. All the supreme gods of the beast race present fell silent. Because there is nothing wrong with what the supreme god of the golden-haired beast tribe said. Ever since the 12 titans of the Titan clan left the battlefield of all realms, how many supreme gods have broken through the peak level and stepped into the realm of the 12 titans in the countless billions of years? Not a single one. Even the Titan god King Clovis, who inherited the pure bloodline of the 12 titans, is still at the level of the supreme god. It can be said that the so-called breakthrough, the so-called climbing higher mountains, it's just the reluctance of the inner world of these supreme gods. It can even be said to be self-hypnosis. Just like the sky god Fox. This famous and supreme god betrayed the natural god system and joined the Titan clan in order to use the power of the Tower of Eternity to break through himself and surpass the peak. But what's the result? He was directly captured by Storm Titan god King Bradley and others, and was taken to the headquarters of the Wolf god clan and handed over to the 18-winged archangel Angelia. Such an ending cannot be said to be self-inflicted. But even if he really succeeds in entering the Tower of Eternity, and gives him time to understand the profound meaning of the supreme law contained therein, can he really break through himself? It's hard to think about it with your butt. The Tower of Eternity has been stored in the Titan god realm for countless billions of years. During such a long period of time, the Titan clan has also given birth to countless geniuses and geniuses. They can enter the Tower of Eternity anytime and anywhere to understand the secrets of the law, but in the end, none of them can break through the level of the Supreme God. Therefore, all the Supreme Gods, including the Sky God Fox, who try to break through themselves, are just unwilling to accept their fate. Destiny is like an unbreakable cage. It imprisons all unwilling creatures. Only those who are extremely lucky and have extraordinary opportunities can break the prison of fate. But such people are, after all, very few. It is normal for a long period of time not to produce one. Let's vote by a show of hands. Should I surrender to the angel clan, or choose to wander the universe and pursue freedom? The minority obeys the majority. Also, just raise one hand. There is no need to raise all 8 of your hands. There were 7 supreme gods present. 5 of them are from the orc camp. The 2 are from the beast tribe. Like Gladstone, they all came from the step-by-step practice of World of Warcraft. Soon, the vote was completed by a show of hands. Every supreme god present gave their own attitude. Every